So, date rape. Date rape is what we're going with. That's the joke. Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to an all-new Talkin Movies. As always, I'm your host, the real Gino Reynolds, and today we're going to be talking about Amazon Prime's 30-year plus sequel to Eddie Murphy's original Coming to America. We are going to be talking about Coming to America. I will warn you, I'll probably have some spoilers in this review. If you don't want any spoilers, I'll say this. The movie is okay. It's not great. It's not terrible. That being said, I can see why people are not liking it. It's one of those that I would only watch one time. I'm glad it was free with Amazon Prime. I'm glad it didn't come to theaters. I got some fun out of it. A lot of it is with the callbacks. There is a very cringy scene that I kind of teased in the intro that we'll definitely talk about that I didn't like. But really, overall, this movie's predictability is its main downfall because you can see everything coming a mile away. So do I recommend it? If you have this love affair with the first one, this one might disappoint you. If you just kind of like the first one, which is kind of how I felt. I enjoy the first movie. The first one is definitely better than this one. But I got some enjoyment out of the callbacks with this movie. So, being that it's free on Amazon Prime, if you got some enjoyment out of the first movie, you might get some enjoyment out of this one too. Okay, so what this movie is about is Eddie Murphy's character, Prince Akeem. It's over 30 years later, and he basically gets emasculated by his dad, saying, "You don't have a son," because he has like 3 daughters. You don't have a male heir to the throne. I'm trying to do my best James Earl Jones. So he, it comes to find out though, that he does have a son, and he is in America, and you're like, wait, he didn't get with anybody in the first movie, and that's when he was over in America, then he met Lisa, and they got married, right? Well, no, technically he did sow his wild oats, but not by choice. And that's where we run into the problem with this. One of the big problems I have with this movie. I'm not going to be like, cancel Coming to America, but it's just a problem I had story-wise that you could have come up with something a lot more clever. And I'll drop somewhat of an idea here in a minute. You have, on the part of Coming to America, the original, where Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall's characters are going out on multiple dates at bars and stuff. You come to find out, one of the people they meet, that of course you don't see in the first movie because they didn't plan on it, is Leslie Jones's character, Mary. And Mary and her friend get together with Eddie and Arsenio. They go back to the apartment, and Eddie Murphy's character basically gets drugged by Leslie Jones's character, and he says, I remember, it's some kind of hallucinogen. I don't remember if they say what kind of drug it is, but he's hallucinating, said something about like a warthog on top of me or something like that. But no, it's saying Leslie Jones was having sex with him, and so yeah, he got date raped, and this produces the son. So Eddie Murphy's character is going to go to America to claim his male heir, and then of course he has to teach him how to be the future king. And we also have a side story, or one side story is his oldest daughter is angry because she's been training her whole life to be queen, even though the law forbids it. And you can really see where the story is going just by me describing it. Also, there's a side story with Wesley Snipes' character, General Izzy. He is the brother of the girl that was supposed to marry Eddie Murphy in the first one. So he, for 30 years, has been planning to take over their nation, to take over Zamunda, uh, because he's angry that they didn't merge their kingdoms or have their, have him marry her and then they have, like, royal ties and everything. So he's going to take over, especially since at the time Prince Akeem didn't have a son. Okay, so what do I like about this movie? The callbacks. The callbacks are funny. There are so many callbacks in this, whether it be characters or just parallel plot points. Some of that is an issue. You have like John Amos returns as Cleo McDowell. Of course, you've got James Earl Jones returns. Sherry Headley returns. So you've got all these returning characters. Eddie Arsenio and them playing the barbershop people return. There's just so many, and there's near the end of the movie you see other returns as well that are kind of funny. So the callbacks are nice. So I was fine with that stuff, and I mean, if you're gonna go for it, you go for it. They went for a ton. Granted, I wish they would have gone farther. It would have been funny to see where, like, Eric LaSalle's character turned up. I would have. There's a scene that would have been perfect for a Samuel Jackson cameo. It would have been either funny to see him try to hold up the newest McDowell's, which is in Zamunda. It would have been hilarious to see him show up, and then there's Prince Akeem again, to him and Arsenio Hall's character there to kick his butt again. Or it would have been neat to see his character having redeemed himself, having gotten out of a life of crime, like maybe them stopping him from robbing that place helped him clean his life up in the last 30 years. And granted, they may have tried to get him. I don't know. I hadn't heard any stories about it or anything. The callbacks of Wesley Snipes' character being the brother of the girl that Akeem didn't marry was funny. I mean, it's hard for me to believe, and they really do this. It's hard for me to believe that that character, Imani, was still acting like a dog and hopping on one leg after 30 years, and they were calling it a curse. I mean, granted, it was something throwaway that Akeem did, but it's hard for me to believe that someone didn't come to him and say, my sister's still barking. Can you put a stop to this? And they finally do put a stop to it at the end of the movie. So, I mean, it's supposed to be funny, but it's just a little too unbelievable. So the callbacks are good. Louis Anderson shows up. Just little things like that. Little callbacks here and there. And in a way, that kind of does become a problem, because not only do the callbacks happen, but they take a lot from the plot of the first one, too. It's, the plot of the first one was, he was being forced to be married, and all that, and he wanted to find his true love. Well, that comes into this, too. The second you meet one character, it's like, oh, that's going to be the love interest, and that, this character is going to marry that character, and all that. But you also know that in the first one, you have James Earl Jones's character changing the laws so his son can be happy. Well, that's going to end up with Eddie Murphy's character changing the laws so everybody can be happy. Of course, he has to be emasculated by his wife, just like James Earl Jones, his character was in the first one. There's just too many parallels, plot-wise. Some surprises would have been nice. I didn't expect them. This is exactly what I expected from this movie, but it would have been nice. Now about the PG-13 rating. I'm not gonna say an R rating would have saved this one at all. It wouldn't have made it any better. A lot of people are mad it's not R because the first one was. Look, I went back and watched the first movie right before I watched the new one, and look, the only differences are a lot of F-bombs and boobies. Those are your big differences. they still make the jokes about, and again, it was one of those parallels. It's like you see it coming a mile away. Of course, in the first movie, you have, Prince Akeem's royal junk being cleaned by a beautiful, naked woman underwater, right? And that's like his daily routine. Is like, I do enjoy that very much, Um, you have a parallel joke to that, but this movie just doesn't have the nudity. It doesn't have the cursing, and it doesn't have the nudity. Those are your really only big differences, and that's stuff that would not have made this movie any better. So I don't think the PG-13. I mean, the first one could have been PG-13 without all the f-bombs and the boobs, and it would have been just fine. So it probably would have been just as fun of a movie. Because of course the first one it felt a lot more clever than this one, because this one was piggybacking off the first one. And about the date rape producing the illegitimate son, I think they could have come up with something more clever. They could have had James Earl Jones's character order Arsenio Hall's character to have gotten sperm from Prince Akeem somehow. I think it would have made a funnier joke. Just somehow getting it from him, and then this ends up with Leslie Jones. I don't know. It's not a good idea, but it's better than the date rape. I don't know. I think there could have been a better way to do it, but they made date rape a joke, and then they just kind of forget about it. And they just kind of accept that this happened. I mean, I think Eddie Murphy's character is just happy he has a son and an heir. So yeah, that part it really, again, if they would have fixed it, it wouldn't have made this movie even like way better. I would have felt the same way about the movie in the end, but yeah, it's just a really cringy part of the movie. So Coming to America is, for me, an okay sequel I would never watch again. I'm glad it was free, because I probably would have been kind of disappointed with this one if it was in theaters. Again, I enjoyed the callbacks, but I didn't enjoy the predictability. I didn't think it was really laugh out loud funny. I mean, again, it had some enjoyable parts, but a lot of that was coming from the nostalgia of the movie versus them coming up with new and clever jokes and plots. So, do I recommend it? If you have this big time love affair with the original, you're not going to like this one, I don't think. I think, again, you might get some nostalgia from it, but you're going to be like, you could have come up with something better. I think if you just kind of enjoyed the first one like I did, you'll get some enjoyment out of this. But again, it's not a great sequel, but it's not the worst thing they could have done. But yeah, all in all, it isn't that bad, but I find it really hard to highly recommend, like, you must get Amazon Prime to see this movie. But if you have Amazon Prime and you're looking for an alright sequel to a movie that you enjoyed, some time ago, then Coming to America isn't that bad. That's going to be all for this edition of Talkin' Movies. If you like what you've heard here, please subscribe to the Real Gino YouTube channel, like this video, and you have anything to say about Coming to America, please feel free to leave a comment in the section below. Till next time, I'm your host, the Real Gino, Gino Reynolds. See you later.